Time flowed through Aiyetoro like a quiet river, and with each passing season, Tunde's dedication to education became more evident. Though hardship remained his constant companion, he continued to excel in his studies. His teacher often praised his intelligence and discipline, saying that his mind was like fertile soil, where every seed of knowledge found room to grow. Soon, Tunde completed his primary education with outstanding results. The entire village was astonished. Never before had a member of Baba Adekunle's family achieved such a milestone. The boy whom many had mocked was now becoming a source of wonder and discussion throughout the community. Yet another challenge stood before him like a mountain touching the clouds. The nearest secondary school was located in a town many miles away from Aiyetoro. Attending it would require money, sacrifice, and separation from his family. To many people, this seems impossible. The little progress Tunde had made appeared to have reached its limit. Baba Adekunle once again found himself caught between love for his son and the harsh reality of poverty. The family could barely provide food and clothing, let alone support education in a distant town. He believed that perhaps destiny had already given Tunde more opportunities than anyone in their lineage had ever received. One evening, as the family gathered beneath the moonlight, Baba Adekunle spoke with a heavy heart. "My son," he said, "you have made us proud, but the road ahead is too costly. A poor man cannot stretch his mat beyond its length." The words fell like stones upon Tunde's spirit, yet they did not crush his hope. He replied respectfully, "Father, the bird that fears leaving its nest will never learn the greatness of the sky. Allow me to try. I am willing to suffer if that is the price of knowledge." His courage amazed everyone. Meanwhile, news of Tunde's achievement reached Mr. Illuminate, the traveling teacher who had encouraged him years earlier. Deeply impressed by the boy's perseverance, he visited the family and spoke with Baba Adekunle. He explained that education was not an enemy of tradition, but a tool that could strengthen future generations. He reminded the old farmer that a single educated child could become a bridge connecting the wisdom of the ancestors with the opportunity of the modern world. Slowly, Baba Adekunle's heart softened once more. With tears in his eyes, he finally gave his blessing, even though he had no money to support the journey. The entire village swashed as preparation began for Tunde's departure. His mother sewed patches onto his old clothes. His grandmother offered prayers and ancient words of wisdom, and neighbors contributed small gifts of food and encouragement. On the morning of his departure, the sky wore the colors of hope and uncertainty. Tunde stood at the edge of the village, carrying a small bag that contained his few belongings. Though his possessions were little, his dreams were greater than mountains. His grandmother embraced him and said, "My child, remember that the river does not forget its source. Even when it reaches the ocean, wherever education takes you to, never abandon the values that raised you." Those words became a treasure within his heart. As he walked away from Aiyetoro, Tunde felt both excitement and fear. The familiar part of his childhood disappeared behind him, while the unknown world stretched ahead like an endless horizon. For the first time in his life, he was leaving the safety of his family to pursue a dream that many considered impossible. The journey symbolized more than physical movement. It represented the breaking of generational chain and the courage to step beyond inherited limitation. Tunde understood that he was not merely walking towards a secondary school. He was carrying the hopes of future generations upon his shoulders. Tunde's arrival in the town of Okiri marked the beginning of a new chapter in his life. The town was larger and busier than Aiyetoro, filled with sounds, people and opportunities he had never imagined. Yet, amid the excitement, loneliness wrapped around his heart like a cold evening mist. He missed his family, his village, and the familiar songs of birds that greeted each morning back home. And nevertheless, he reminded himself that a traveler who desires the treasures beyond the mountain must first endure the weariness of the journey. Tunde stayed with an elderly relative who offered him a small corner of a modest house. Though the accommodation was simple, he accepted it with gratitude. He knew that every blessing, no matter how small, was a stepping stone placed by destiny. Life in the town was far from easy. School expenses continued to rise, and his family could send little support. To survive, Tunde worked after classes. He carried loads in the market, cleaned shop fronts, and helped traders arrange their goods. His hands, once accustomed only to farm tools, now labored in unfamiliar ways. Many nights, exhaustion sat upon his body like a heavy garment. Yet, even when sleeping calls his name, he opened his books and studied under the dim light of a lantern. His determination burned like a sacred flame that neither hunger nor fatigue could extinguish. The elder says, the fire that is meant to cook a great feast does not fear the strength of the wind. Tunde embodied this wisdom. However, temptation soon appeared on his path. Some young boys in the town mocked his dedication to education. They believed that quick money through petty trading and manual labor was far more rewarding than years spent in classrooms. They laughed at his worn-out clothes and his constant devotion to books. One of them said, "Why suffer today for a future that nobody can see? A bird in hand is worth more than 1,000 in the sky." For a moment, Tunde's heart wavered. Poverty had become a stubborn companion, and the burden of responsibility seemed too heavy for his young shoulders. He wondered whether the villagers had been right all along. Perhaps education was only a beautiful dream reserved for the wealthy. But whenever doubt entered his mind, the voice of his mother and grandmother returned like songs carried by the evening wind. At school, his teacher noticed his exceptional dedication. Despite his difficult circumstances, he remained one of the best students in his class. His love for learning shone brightly, and many educators began to believe that he possessed a rare gift. Moved by his perseverance, occasionally provided him with extra books and guidance. The kindness reminded Tunde that even in the darkest forest, destiny plants trees that offer shelter to weary traveler. Meanwhile, news of his achievement reached Aiyetoro. The villager who once mocked him began to speak differently. Some now admire his courage, while others quietly wonder whether education might truly hold the power to transform lives. Baba Adekunle, though still burdened by poverty, felt a growing sense of pride whenever his son's name was mentioned. Yet the greatest battle remained within Tunde himself. He had to choose every day between surrender and perseverance, between immediate comfort and future greatness. Each hardship became a test of his career, and each victory strengthened the fire burning within his soul. Years passed like flowing water, and Tunde grew from a determined village boy into a young man whose spirit had been refined by hardship. Every challenge he faced had become a hammer in his hands of destiny, shaping him into a person of courage, wisdom, and unwavering purpose. The fire that once flickered in his heart now burned like a mighty torch, guiding him through the darkness that had surrounded his family for generations. As his final secondary school examination approached, the weight of expectation rested heavily upon his shoulders. He knew that success would not belong to him alone. It would belong to his parents, who had sacrificed despite their poverty, to his grandmother, whose wisdom had nourished his soul, and to every child in Aiyetoro who secretly dreamed of a future beyond the boundary of tradition. Yet the season of testing brought fresh difficulties. The money needed for examination fee remained beyond his reach. Hunger still visited him like an unwanted guest, and exhaustion followed him wherever he went. Many nights he studied while others slept, his lantern fighting against the darkness like a lonely warrior standing on a battlefield. The elders said, "The dawn appears darkest just before the first light breaks through the sky." Tunde was living through that truth. Determined not to abandon his dream, he continued working after school hours. Kind-hearted teachers and neighbors who had witnessed his perseverance offered small acts of support. Some provided food, while others contributed towards his examination expenses. Their kindness reminded him that when a person's purpose is pure, heaven often sends helpers along the journey. Meanwhile, Baba Adekunle underwent a transformation of his own. The man who had once dismissed education as unnecessary now understood its value. Through Tunde's example, he realized that knowledge was not a threat to tradition, but a powerful tool for improving the lives of future generations.